Alright, hello everybody, Friendly Red here, back with another peruse of some news. The Xbox Game Showcase occurred today, and much like I just did for the Summer Game Fest for this year, I wanted to go over some of the games and reveals that really stood out to me from the show. Let's get into it, shall we? Starting off our reveal discussion, we have the announcement of Super Meat Boy 3D. Never would have expected to get more Meat Boy in our lives, but I'm certainly not complaining. The original Super Meat Boy was a blisteringly fast, tough-as-nails precision platformer, and a game that I and many others sunk countless hours into over our various attempts to the stages in the game. My personal history with Super Meat Boy ended with the original game, but there has been some new Meat Boy action released even before the reveal of 3D, as Super Meat Boy Forever launched back in 2020. I personally wasn't too interested in that game though, as it originally started out as a mobile-only take on Meat Boy. And even though it did eventually get retooled into a proper console and PC sequel to the original game, the core design and mobile-only focus still remained, as the game featured an auto-running structure with procedurally generated levels, which isn't really what a lot of people who enjoyed the original game were necessarily wanting from a sequel. Thankfully, Super Meat Boy 3D is looking to right those wrongs, offering up the original focus of Meat Boy once again, fast-paced, precision platforming, requiring quick reflexes and decision-making, and plenty of trial and error as you attempt to make it through any given stage. Of course, being in 3D shifts up the visuals and overall design quite a bit, but it looks as though the core of Meat Boy remains here, and I'm looking forward to returning to this series after so long once 3D launches early next year. Next, Ninja Gaiden 4 got a new trailer, confirming the release date to be on October 21st of this year. Never actually played a Ninja Gaiden game, but I'm actually pretty interested in checking this one out, as Platinum Games is helping out with the development. I'm a big fan of all of the action games they've made in the past. I do know that Ninja Gaiden games are rather difficult, gory, and combo heavy, and from what I can tell, this all remains true for 4. Though I suppose it's a bit hard to gauge difficulty from just a trailer alone. The gore and combos though, yeah, those are for sure still intact here. Game Freak made a surprise appearance at the Xbox event this year, showing off their new game, Beast of Reincarnation. Pretty crazy to see the main developers behind Pokemon making something so different from what we're used to from them. I know Game Freak has done other games outside Pokemon in the past, like Tembo the Badass Elephant and Little Town Hero, but I feel they generally stick to a more colorful, cartoon or anime-inspired aesthetic. So it just feels weird to see their name attached to something so realistic and mature looking. Regardless, it's neat to see the studio doing something so new and different, and this trailer offered up some pretty nice looking visuals and third-person melee combat, alongside some great sounding music too. The performance of the game itself though was certainly pretty low in some segments of the reveal, and hopefully Game Freak can get that all sorted out before the release next year. Then again, this is a studio that's been plagued by poor performance and optimization with their projects in recent years, so I suppose it's not all too surprising to see them still struggling with modern-day console game development, even when targeting much more powerful hardware than what they're used to delivering on Nintendo Switch. I'm hoping they can get this one right, and thankfully they've still got plenty of time to polish it up, as it's not out until sometime next year. Clockwork Revolution got a lengthy gameplay debut trailer this year, reappearing after its initial reveal at last year's Xbox Showcase. Simply put, this one looks like a steampunk-inspired take on similar types of gameplay and ideas you'd see in Fallout or The Outer Worlds, with it being a first-person RPG revolving around a narrative driven by player choice, paired up with some first-person shooting for combat sections. There's also the time travel-related aspects of the game, which look to drastically alter how the story and state of the in-game world are affected depending on your choices, and how you use your time manipulation abilities. Seems like they can offer up an edge to you in combat as well, though some enemies may be able to utilize those very same time powers against you too, which should keep encounters from being too one-sided, I would think. Still no release date, or general release window for this one, but I'm very much going to be keeping it on my radar. As a big fan of BioShock, and more specifically BioShock Infinite, I have a feeling I'm going to really enjoy this one once it's ready for us to play. Bloober Team's new sci-fi survival horror game, Chronos: The New Dawn, got a short new trailer as well, with a confirmation that it will be available this fall. Bloober Team delivered an excellent remake of Silent Hill 2 last year that wowed many, and as a first-time player of both Silent Hill 2 and Bloober's games in general, I came away from it very impressed. I'm eager to see if they can once again deliver some survival horror goodness with Chronos, but they're certainly checking a lot of the right boxes for me. Sci-fi space horror, with lots of disturbing and mangled monsters roaming around, and slower, heavier movement and gunplay. They seem to have taken lots of inspiration from the likes of Dead Space, and that makes me very pleased. Dead Space remains a survival horror classic, and one of my favorite sci-fi games ever, so I'll happily take any and all games that will give me a similar but new experience to what you can find in those titles, especially since EA doesn't seem all too interested in giving us more remakes, or new games in the Dead Space universe unfortunately, despite the popularity and success of the first game's remake from 2023. Thunder Lotus, developers behind Spiritfarer and the recently released 33 Immortals, announced a new game today, known as At Fate's End. Described as an action-adventure game where you fight the ones you love, you take on the role of Shan, an heiress knight that's a part of the Hemlock clan, seemingly some sort of large and influential family that's of great importance to the in-game world. Aside from the normal side-scrolling platforming and slashing of your sword, you'll also be able to acquire and equip special cards that grant you access to powerful abilities, which do seem to be tied to the family members you face off against, and perhaps other notable characters throughout the story as well. There wasn't a ton shown for this one, and it's not out until sometime next year, but I'm for sure looking forward to it, as I loved what I played as Spiritfarer, and Thunder Lotus's art style for their games is beautiful and greatly appealing to me. I'm glad it remains for their new game here, and it'll be cool to see it in a faster, action-heavy title compared to how it was presented in Spiritfarer. On the topic of game reveals with not a ton shown for them, after lots of rumors and speculation leading up to this event, the remake of Persona 4 was officially shown off today, titled Persona 4 Revival. Honestly, this trailer was essentially just to confirm that, yep, this is a thing that's happening, which I think we all kind of expected after the massive success of the Persona 3 remake, but it's still great to know it's coming, and the little snippets we did see of the game in action look fantastic. It'll probably be a bit longer before we get anything more concrete on this one, but I'm super pleased and cheesed that we got this announcement, and I'm very excited to head back to Inaba sometime in the near future. Much like Persona 3 and Persona 5, Persona 4 is a masterclass JRPG experience, and Revival is going to make it easier for even more people to see what makes this game so beloved amongst the Persona fandom and the wider JRPG fandom as a whole. And to end our reveal discussions, we got the announcement of a new game from Double Fine, primarily known for their Psychonauts series of games. This new game, called Keeper, retains the Double Fine signatures, truly out there and bizarre ideas brought to life with gorgeous artistic flair, with this game putting players in control of a sentient lighthouse, joined up with a strange seabird companion. Once again, not a lot was shown for this one, and with the premise being as strange as it is, it can be somewhat difficult to get a full grasp as to how it'll all play out. It seems like the focus of this game will be on the journey itself, as you take in wondrous and strange scenery and creatures in the world around you, with some puzzle solving and perhaps some light platforming thrown in as well, though considering you're a walking lighthouse, I'm not too sure how acrobatic you may be compared to some other platformer protagonist. Bottom line though, it's weird, it's pretty, and it's Double Fine, so I know they're going to deliver something unique and worth experiencing here, much like what they've done before with Psychonauts, and all their other projects that I've not yet had the chance to experience for myself. And that's everything that caught my eye shown at the Xbox showcase this year. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with what I discussed here today, and I think there was enough variety on offer to satisfy lots of different people out there, which I guess is usually what Xbox goes for with their presentations. I am a little bummed we didn't see anything new regarding Perfect Dark, State of Decay 3, Gears of War E-Day, or anything from Halo Studios, but I guess we'll just need to keep waiting and let those projects continue to cook for now. Also, I found it pretty lame that the One Last Thing announcement was for Call of Duty of all things. That's such a known quantity at this point, and leaving it for the last big hype reveal just is kind of deflating, really. I feel like it would have been more impactful to show the new Xbox Asus ROG handheld here instead, especially with that having new footage of Silksong playing on it, which is a game that people are downright ravenous for currently, as opposed to, you know, Call of Duty. Anyways, that's a wrap for the Xbox showcase for 2025. I'll probably cover a Nintendo Direct if/when one occurs, but I'm actually not sure if they will hold one this month, given we only just got the Switch 2. I don't really know if they would have a lot of new things ready to show or reveal, both on the first and third party side of things, but if they do end up doing one, then I'll be more than happy to spend some time yapping about it here on the channel. But, with all that being said, I think that'll do it for this video. If you made it to the end, I thank you for watching. Your continued viewership and support is greatly appreciated. I hope I was able to entertain, inform, and perhaps interest you in some games or announcements you may not have known about. And last, but certainly not least, as always, I'll see you next time.